What's up everybody? Welcome to another video. I'm going to talk about quantize versus not quantizing, what it means and how you can use it in your production. So check it out.
DRMKT.
What does quantization actually mean in music? In digital music processing technology, quantization is the studio software process of transforming performed musical notes, which may have some imprecision due to expressive performance, to an underlying musical representation that eliminates the imprecision. The process results in notes being set on beats and on exact fractions of beats. So what that actually means is, if you play any type of note, it registers it as it registers the timing that you actually play the notes, and sometimes that can be off beat, so-called. So that can mean that it's not on the one. So for example, you have a 4-bar loop, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can have, basically you put like a kick drum on the 1, you put a snare on the 3, and to make this a bit more clear, I will show you an example of how you can see what quantizing is versus not quantizing in Ableton, for example. So let's have a look. I've just prepared some simple drum loops that I played quantized and corrected with quantization in Ableton, so I can show you what it's like, and you can hear what it's like, of course. So I have these two little loops, 2-bar loops, and the one on the left is quantized and the one on the right is unquantized. So I played that with my own timing, basically, without correction. And you can hear I played a simple kick and a snare, or a rim shot, I think, and you can check out how that sounds. So that's the drum loop without quantization, and this is the drum loop with quantization. And the reason why it's such a big debate is because, especially in this example, there's a very small difference, even as small of a difference that you can only like feel it, like feel the actual, like when I click on the left one, this is the quantized one, and the unquantized one, especially pay attention to these two notes. It's so small, it's like an increment. Yeah, you basically have to zoom in to see the difference. But in the end, of course, you have to hear it, and that's where this whole debate comes in, and hear it and even feel it. When you listen closely to this drum pattern, and this one, it's not a big difference, once again, but I personally feel this drum loop more than this one. I can feel like it's very staccato, it's very robotic. It not very, but it's a lot more robotic sounding than this one. And ways to work around that is, when you have a quantized drum loop, in this case a kick and a snare, you can add something to it that is unquantized. So basically, when you have, I had this before, when you have a sample, for example, that you want to have exactly on the kick and the snare, and that's the only way it can sound nice in that case, then you can add something to make it sound more loose. And in this case, I've added some hi-hats. And in this case, I've added some hi-hats to it that are unquantized. So you can see or hear what the difference is between the drum loop without hi-hats that are unquantized. So this is only quantized. These are only quantized notes. And then I'm adding a hi-hat that isn't quantized. It sounds a lot more loose, even though these notes haven't changed. They are not unquantized now, they are still quantized, and this is unquantized. And what happens, I think it's not like scientifically proven, but what happens in my mind is that when you add unquantized hi-hats or other notes, it doesn't matter, but in this case hi-hats, it makes the drum sound different. Different in this case, more sloppy. Almost like they're also offbeat, and that has to do with that there is a difference and your brain wants to make up what is right. What is the timing I should listen to? Is it the kicks and the snares, or is it the hi-hat? And I think the hi-hat in this case has the upper hand regarding timing. So when you listen to this, it sounds like the drums are actually played sloppy or manually or unquantized. And that sounds a lot nicer, and this is a way to work around the fact that you still have quantized drums, but you still want to make it sound sloppier or human-feely. And there's a way to fix that, but you can also go all in and play the drums sloppy in this case, and play the hi-hats sloppy. So this is the exact same hi-hat loop that I've placed under this drum pattern, and this is the unquantized drum loop. So just like I said before, it is such a small difference, but it does make a big difference in my opinion, because the first drum loop without the hi-hats I am not feeling at all. It sounds too robotic. It really sounds like your drums are played on the computer, if you get what I'm saying. And every time I hear that in productions, and when I can obviously hear that without people like trying to work around that, it turns me off. But when you try to work around it, I mean, this sounds nice, and you can trick people by using this to make everything sound a bit more human, feely or unquantized. And when I listen to this, it really sounds like a human person played this. And basically, I mean, like in every band, every drummer would sound more like this than this. And of course you have well-trained drummers that sound probably very close to this, but still would have like a little bit of human error, or still would be a bit off. And of course this is very sloppy. And I mean, not every drummer will sound this way, but it sounds more human, and I think that is effectively what you want it to make it sound, and don't want to let people hear that it just sounds like it's made by a machine. Unless you're making house music or techno music, which is very quantized. But regarding hip-hop, as it comes to hip-hop, I think it should sound as human as possible. the first question you can ask yourself about quantizing versus not quantizing is, why would you use it? In my case, I use quantizing if I want to have it precisely on beat, if I have like certain elements in my music that really have like a staccato type of feel to it. I tend to use quantization, but for example, in my drums, I like to put like the first count, like the first kick in your drum. I like to quantize only that note and move forward without quantization. So I always have the one with the kick, and everything else has a human feel to it, because it's actually my timing, my personal timing, and not the timing of the computer or the sampler of choice. And why wouldn't you use quantization? The reason you wouldn't use quantization is, just like I said, to give it more of a human feel, to actually record your timing and not the timing of your computer. It can give you a bit more of a realistic, natural, manual feel to your music, and it's a lot more personal. It is a bit more daunting than using quantization, because quantization is actually putting your DAW or your tool of choice in automatic mode and not in manual mode. So the computer tells you what the timing should be, and it corrects it if needed. So that's the big difference. It can be daunting to not use quantization, because what you play is what you get, basically, and with quantization you can correct your mistakes, so quote unquote. My question to you now, to wrap this up, is, do you use quantization or don't you use quantization, and what is the reason that you don't use it or do use it? I'm very interested in how you apply it or don't, and let me know in the comments down below what your opinion is. And if you like this content, please feel free to subscribe, like this video, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.